So thank you so much for listening. I am Hollis. This is the podcast I Do What I Want. And today I want to talk about book trailers because I just released the book trailer for the upcoming sequel for To Save a World called The Queen Witch. And I'm really excited about it. I created the trailer myself. I do a lot of the stuff myself, but we're going to talk a little bit today about why we even do book trailers and also how you can create them, not just by yourself, but how you can hire someone who can do a much better job and make it beautiful for you. That's always good to know. So before that, of course, a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who attended my workshop this Saturday on character development. I was thrilled with all the concepts I was hearing. I was thrilled with the feedback, quite frankly, and it went beautifully. And I hope that you all will continue to email me questions and let me know how you're doing because I'm genuinely interested and a lot of those concepts sound really, really cool and I want to read them in the future, so tell me when you're publishing. But that was great. I will have another workshop because this was a success, so I will be doing workshops quarterly. Writing workshops, and again, these, even though I am a fantasy writer, these workshops will be able to be applied to any type of writing that you do. If you are a poet, if you are a nonfiction writer, biographies, autobiographies, of course, fantasy and fiction, historical, whatever, I'm trying to make it so that these workshops will apply to any and all writing styles, at least here in the first year that I am doing them. Obviously, as I start to use more content, I will have to get more specific in later workshops. But 2023, everything's going to be a broad scope. So, other announcement is, of course, The Queen Witch, the second book in the Rashan series, which is a fantasy book series written by me. And that will be coming in April. The cover reveal happened last week, February 19th. Yay! I'm really happy with the cover. Thank you so much for all your wonderful comments and everything like that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And then of course, again, book trailer just came out with that pretty cover at the end again. And then the re-release of the first book, To Save a World, is actually going to happen in June. I wanted to, I think I've mentioned before on the podcast that I wanted to, number one, make the covers look like a set. When I initially wrote To Save a World, I didn't realize I would be creating a whole fantasy book series, using that as my, origin book for it as the first book. But, and I am so sorry if you can hear that because my husband is running the garbage disposal upstairs. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too distracting. It obviously distracted me. Anyway, To Save a World, there will be a re-release of To Save a World. So it's the same, the story is the same story. It will be edited better, meaning the content isn't changing, but if you've read To Save a World, my first book, it's not the worst thing ever, but there are definitely some errors that the previous quote-unquote editor who looked at it just didn't catch because I firmly believe that they didn't even bother to read it. So pretty much any typos that I personally did not catch didn't get corrected. And there were a few other things in the interior page layout that I wanted, like a full scale map of the world and so on and so forth. So it will be a much more beautiful page layout. It will be a really gorgeous, a gorgeous cover that is going to complement the Queen Witch, so that every book in the Rashan series is going to look like, it'll be gorgeous on your shelves in a box set. And I'm really excited about that. Quite obviously, I haven't shut up about it in several minutes. So anyway, I will also be creating a book trailer for To Save a World for the re-release, because I've never actually made a book trailer for To Save a World, because at the time that I was first publishing it, I was such a little publishing baby that I didn't know what I was doing. And I knew book trailers existed and everything else, but I was so overwhelmed and I had no clue how to video edit. I'm still not good at it, but yeah, it didn't get done, and it should have. So, on that point, book trailers. Why do we even need them? So, I would strongly suggest book trailers, especially in this age of social media. I have seen a huge difference in my book sales between my first book, and this isn't just based on the book trailer, but my first book and my second book, Spare the Swallow, which is not part of the Rashan series. It's a different fantasy series that it is the origin story. But I have a book trailer for Spare the Swallow that you can check out on my channel if you like, which I'm very proud of. But it was also the first book trailer I ever created. and I did not feel that I knew what I was doing. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. People actually really liked it, so hooray. But the book trailer has gotten a good amount of views, a good amount of feedback, and there are people who literally would not have heard about Spare the Swallow if they hadn't come across that book trailer. Or they would have just kept scrolling if there wasn't a video. And I know with Instagram Reels and, stories and things like that, there of course you can create videos of you being like, read my book, and holding it up and woo, all of that. But that is very, very different from a book trailer. So, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is a movie trailer. And the simplest way to say this, and the most obvious thing ever, is when you just hear about a movie, how excited do you get? On a scale of 1 to 10. For me, unless if it's a movie that maybe I don't know the actors or anything like that, it's just kind of a neutral thing, but maybe I would be into the subject matter, like it's a subject matter that I'm into, then I would go, cool, I'll have to check that out. But chances are, because I just heard about it or saw a poster of it, I'm probably going to forget. But when we see a movie trailer, then of course the movie studios do a bang up job with their trailers. They're very, very engaging, and most of the time, trailers are incredible. And you go, whoa, even if it's a film that you wouldn't have necessarily been interested in subject matter before, you suddenly go, oh, well, maybe I want to watch a mystery. I don't know, maybe even though I'm a scaredy cat, I'd love that horror thriller. Something like that is important. You get hooked. And it also gives in the case of books, readers, a real taste of the flavor of what you have to offer as a writer or an author to their world. And especially if they've never heard from you before, if it's not just, random postcards or social media posts of you going, hi, I think I did a really great job on this. You can say that all day long. Your readers don't care until you show them what the, flavor, what the feeling of that book really is. And book trailers, book trailers do that for your readers, and they can hook a whole other group, a whole other level of people who would have maybe heard about your book in passing, but then completely forgotten about it. Not because they didn't care about you or weren't interested in your genre or whatever, but just because there was nothing that stuck in their brain. No music. They didn't hear any, no phrasings, no imagery, nothing that like hooked, really hooked and stuck. And then that was it. So I do think that book trailers, especially in this social media day and age, are really important and very valuable as a writer to have, even if they are like, frankly, like my book trailers, because I am still learning how to do these. And I want to get better, and some of it is a budget constraint. But I, again, even with my very novice level abilities, I have seen a difference in my sales. And the biggest change in my marketing is that I had a book trailer. So that's why I think that book trailers are really valuable. And let's talk a little bit about the semantics of making a book trailer. So you're the author, you've got a great story, you want to share. That's great. You should share. Sharing is caring. Also, sharing is revenue. So rule number 1, don't make it too long. I cannot stress this enough. Attention spans are tiny in this day and age. We all know this. We all realize it. But sometimes when we are creating our own beautiful baby things that we love so much and we're so proud of, we go, oh, but because this is my little brainchild, I just want to make it a little longer. I want to tell people more. Well, you know what? Your friends and family are going to watch the whole thing. But you go too deep, you go too long, everyone else, even a lot of your friends, are going to click away before they even get to the point of how they can find that book, because they've already lost interest because you went on too long. You did. And I know it's not fun, but the thing is, this is a hook. This is not the story. You want to give them just enough of a taste so that they want more. So you have to keep it very short. I keep mine under 1 minute. My book trailers, well, the 2 that I have, again, still a novice, but the 2 that I have are about 45 seconds long each. And that is with the little end screen being up for about 10 seconds. So, and the end screen, by the way, is really the last panel in your book trailer. Again, just like movie trailers tell you at the end, think about the last thing you see in a movie trailer. It tells you the title of the film, it tells you when it's coming out, and it tells you where to find it, where you can go watch it. You need to do the exact same thing with your book trailer, except instead of in theaters, you have, will be available on Amazon or something if you like. Or in my case, I put my website and my socials, which for most authors, I do recommend just putting your socials on there, because then they can follow you and then they'll get all the information of where to purchase it. And also possibly you get a new follower and some more website traffic, and that's really important. So always, always, always have your socials on the end screen. Have your book cover on the end screen, meaning that you should have already done your cover reveal before you release your book trailer. And of course, let them know when they can find it. If you are releasing your book trailer and then people go, that looks great, but your book doesn't come out for another 2 months, then they're going to go to the store. The people at Barnes & Noble or wherever are going to say, we've never heard of that. And they're going to go, oh, that stinks. And then they're going to leave and they'll completely forget about your book and never ask about it again. Because there are lots of other books out there. And that's great. But you still need to have a voice in the community and be memorable. and not disappoint your readers, because that's a level of disappointment right there. You've already disappointed them and they've never even read your work. So really important to tell them when your book is coming. It's really important. I don't have an exact date on my book trailer because, frankly, I'm not exactly sure, but I am telling them April of 2023. So come April, people can start checking on things. But I'm also, and of course I'll be putting updates on my website on and on, but your end screen absolutely must have the cover of your book so they know what it looks like. Must have when the book is released, even if the book's already released. Just put the release date in there, because people can tell, can read and tell time and stuff. And if they see a date that is already passed, they're like, awesome. It's already in the store. So have that, and put your socials / where they can find the book to purchase it. These are the main things you really must have at the end of your book trailer. And again, so the content of the book trailer, the actual hooky, ooh, a magic part, is for me about 30 seconds. And then the last 10 to 15 seconds is just that end screen, so that they have plenty of time to read or write down whatever they want, and the pretty music's still playing, and on and on and on. So these things are really, really important, and I really can't stress enough the importance of having that information at the end, and the importance of keeping it short. Because, just be honest with yourself. When you yourself are online and you're clicking around, how long do you actually watch something? Less than a minute, right? And if they don't get to the point, or you don't become invested within about 20 seconds, bye. It's a little sad, but it's also quite true, and I know I'm guilty of it myself. You gotta get hooked. The other, I think those are my 2 cardinal rules. I was thinking, do I have another one? Checking my notes. Those are my 2 cardinal rules for making book trailers. The other thing is, I would just say stay true to the theme of your book. So, for example, Spare the Swallow, I used a voice narrator. Her name is Anne Helena Ramons. I gave her credit at the end of that trailer. If you would like to go watch it, you could see that, it's voiced by her. She did a fantastic job. I found her on voices.com, by the way, which is a wonderful voice talent. And you can find audiobook narrators on there as well. But commercials and things like that, whatever, the wonderful voice talent on voices.com. The link is in the description. Very much endorse that, and that's how I found Anne Helena. But the that one has a narrator, and that one has, and the narrator is basically the main character of Spare the Swallow. Her name is Lucretia. It's an internal dialogue, and she's lamenting the situation. So it sounds very personal. And of course you have the dramatic music playing in the background. But when you look at what I just released for The Queen Witch, there is no narration to that. And it's because it's 2 very, very different worlds. There are a lot of different ways to do book trailers. I do strongly recommend watching mine, of course, but also going and watching, just Googling book trailers. And for your own genre, like Google, if you're a romance author, then book trailers, romance. I'm fantasy, book trailers, fantasy, whatever. Just do that. Watch a few. See what you like. See what you don't like. Most importantly, and then realize realize what hooks you, and realize, okay, this needs to really demonstrate the overall feeling of my book as best as I can while keeping it short and sweet. So the Queen Witch trailer, it's got a voiceover. I've got a beautiful video, or maybe it's not the most beautiful, but basically I start, and it's the background is a forest, and I have little blurbs that you read. So the first panel is sunlit, beautiful forest, and you have like, hey, the beginning, things are happy. And then the second panel, oh, we're getting darker. It's like that dusky, and there's wind in the trees background, and the word blurb is like, oh, trouble's brewing, essentially. And then the last panel is a dark forest at night that looks kind of menacing, and the blurb of like, here's the real root of the problem. And like, here is the most like intense part. Like, I want you to know, like, they've got to save these things. And then to the end screen where I have my book cover, my, the release date, my socials, and all of that. So it's and they have, I was going, like traveling from like things are good. Oh, but then they got bad. Kind of giving that transition using the forest. And of course I was using stock footage. So I just had to come up with that. But there is a lot that you can do, and it's just kind of a sort of fantasy-esque spooky music playing, and then I do a little whisper because there's a sinister element to the Queen, which it is considered dark fantasy in a lot of ways, and I have a little sinister whisper right at the end when that last panel comes up with all the information, and to hopefully make people go, oh, what was that? Oh, I'm a little scared. In a good way. Let's do it. Let's read it. Let's remember this. That's what I'm going for. But they're two entirely different feelings of book trailers. And so it's really important to hit the right note, hit the right theme, make sure it matches what your book feels like when you read it. And one of the things that I also strongly recommend is that once you have your book trailer made or at least laid out, and you're in the just fine-tuning stages, send it to the editor or editors that read your book already before you release it, and make sure that it demonstrates how they felt about the book as well, because they'll probably have some good feedback for you. And yes, I do that too. So definitely say that. Some really good places, if you're going to pay someone. So if you have no experience with video editing, you don't want experience with video editing, or you are just like, I am not confident / do not have the time. That is cool. That makes a lot of sense. So you can go to Reedsy.com, which I've mentioned before. The link, all of these links are in the little bio. So Reedsy, REEDSY.com, which is an online community for writers and authors. I love it. I am a member. It is absolutely free to be a member. And they have tons of articles that help you with your writing, with your publishing, with your marketing. They have so many resources. And perhaps most importantly of all, they have all of these professionals, video editors, editors, book cover designers, page layout designers, marketing professionals from all over the world that can help you. And that is something that is invaluable. And so you can easily go on Reedsy and either read about, find some articles and things on how to create a really great book trailer, which is always helpful, and or then go find a video editor who can help you create that, a video designer, editor, or whatever, to help you create said book trailer, and that, or even marketing representative to help you create it. So that's good. Fiverr, the Fiverr, 2 R's, they are also great. There's a huge freelance community of professionals, many designers, video editors, that sort of thing. Fiverr, to my knowledge, I haven't explored this website as much. Obviously, it's free to go on there and be a member and browse. But they have a lot of professionals. It's a great place to find designers. And it's called Fiverr because a lot of the people on Fiverr are still trying to make a name for themselves. They're very talented, but they don't have enough experience yet in the field to command high prices. So you can get them while they're less expensive in a lot of ways, because they haven't gotten to a point yet where they have the weight in the industry to charge higher prices. So they're trying to gain that experience and get there and help them along. So that is really good. And of course, you can always just look locally if you happen to know a designer or have a friend of a friend or something like that, somebody who can edit videos and create things like that, then please, help. You just raise your hand, make the contact, get the phone number, do that. I do think that it is, especially if you are not someone who knows about design or has ever attempted it, I feel that it's very, very valuable to get help, even if it's just teaching you how to do it or something. I do feel it's very valuable to get help. One of the reasons I decide to do my own things is because even though I am not trained as a designer, I was a project manager for design and branding agencies for years, and I have been dabbling in design and all these other things for years, and I designed book covers for a poetry press as well, and some other independent people. So I do, even though I don't have a degree in design and all these things, I have enough life experience and experience within the industry to understand how and what I'm doing. Again, I'm definitely not the bestest, but I have a deeper understanding than some other people. So it's something to consider if you have experience like I do. Yes. Or maybe your best friend has experience. Use that. Take them out to dinner. Let them show you the ropes. Do the things. So that's good. If you are going to venture into creating your own, like I do, the platform I use, I use 2 different online platforms. One of the reasons I do know how to use design software, of course, but design software, especially with updates and everything else, can get expensive. And if you are not a full-time designer, sometimes it's just not economical, or prudent in the budget to have those things. And plus, for my purposes and abilities, using things like Canva, Canva, which, I'm sure you've seen ads for it, things like that, or PicMonkey, which is not advertised, but I prefer PicMonkey for most everything I do except videos. But PicMonkey is picmonkey.com. It is more of a, it's more designer friendly, I guess is the thing. So if you already know a bit about graphic design and you already understand Photoshop or Illustrator, InDesign, that sort of thing, I think PicMonkey is way easier to use than Canva. It's simpler, but it operates more with those classic design software principles and tools and intuitive layout that I'm really used to and makes sense to me. You can work in layers, which if you're a designer, you know exactly what I mean. You can't work in the layers in Canva, which can drive me crazy. But the thing is, unless you are somebody with some design experience or knows how to use those, PicMonkey might not, there's a learning curve there. So again, for me, in my personal experiences, PicMonkey was much easier. It's also really inexpensive. It's only like $12 a month for the pro plan. There's a free version too. I pay for the pro. I pay $12 a month. I do almost all of my design. Like basically, if I design an Instagram reel or story or something, if I'm not just, filming myself on my phone, doing it on PicMonkey. All of my marketing materials, my bookmarks, my book covers, I design in PicMonkey. That's how similar it is to InDesign and Illustrator, is that I can straight up just do design work that I can lay out with the proper measurements and everything else and bleeds and and download print ready files from it. And I love that. Canva, you can do things like, you can definitely do flyers, you can do a lot of marketing materials on Canva and things like that, but it's not quite on the same level as PicMonkey as far as actual design work is concerned. However, when it comes to creating book trailers, the video editing in Canva is superior in my personal assessment. The video editing in Canva is just so much easier, and there are, like, PicMonkey, unless you are just doing a one-off, anyway, I wouldn't use PicMonkey to create a book trailer. I use Canva to create book trailers. They have a lot of stock videos that are completely free, and they have, royalty-free audio, all that other stuff, and of course you can upload your own content that you have paid for or filmed or recorded or whatever. But it's really good, and you can use that editing tool. I'm not going to go through how, but I would say that if you are creating your own and you are not using a professional video software, in my personal experience, I would recommend Canva for creating book trailers or videos of that nature. There are a lot of limitations, which can be annoying. But let's face it, this isn't professional software. This is a service, which, again, there's a free version. I do pay for Canva. I pay it's less than $10 a month, whatever version. They have several, different ones that you can do. It's less than $10 a month I pay for Canva, so that I can have access to more stock images and videos and just some more functions within, so that I can create more stuff. Something tells me that a lot of the limitations that I experience, if I were willing to pay more money every month for Canva, that I probably could do things like slow down the videos, if something, if you're using stock video from Canva and the camera is just moving too fast for you, but you really like the imagery, with the version that I have, I can't slow that video down. I can't. And of course, professional software, you can, or even things like InShot or Splice, you can. But you can't do it in the lowest tier paid version of Canva. And that annoys me, but I find workarounds. So I just have to find a different stock video that works for my purposes if something is moving too quickly or is not the right color or whatever. If it's daytime instead of nighttime or blue instead of red, I don't know. It doesn't matter. So there are limitations. There are limitations to how the tools work. And I'm not always a huge fan, but I will say the downloads are clean. You can make sure to you can just say, I need this for YouTube. And boom. Which PicMonkey also has that capability. If you say, I want to create a YouTube thing, I want to create an Instagram story, an Instagram post, they have all of those template sizes and everything ready to go. It's great. So I would recommend using that. And if you are creating your own, if you're not already aware, please, please, please make sure that you use either royalty-free things that you're allowed legally to use, or that you just create your own original, or get permission from the creator, the original creator of whatever footage you like, and pay them to use it. There are a lot of things that you can grab from the internet and you don't realize you're stealing sometimes, but keep in mind that a lot of people don't even, it doesn't even occur, and I totally get that. But keep in mind that people who make these videos, who make, just, they do stock photography of a woman gardening or whatever, they did that with the intention of getting paid. That's their profession. That's their livelihood. And if you steal the image or the video and don't pay them, then you are stealing and taking money out of their pocket. And also, if they find out about it, they can sue you and force you to remove whatever that image is. So for your own good, use royalty-free, your own content, your own original content, or make sure that you purchase whatever it is that you want or need for that book trailer, or any material that you're creating digitally, so that people don't get, so that everyone can be happy and everything looks perfect and you're happy. So I would say that. The other option, of course, is getting some professional video software and learning how to use it. I have not done that. It's expensive, presently not in my budget. It is something I plan on doing in the future, however. I do, of course, plan on continuing to write books. I plan on continuing to do all sorts of things. So for me, using Canva to create my book trailer it's a temporary situation, but it is just my right now. So of course, there's a learning curve. You have to have enough experience to create your software, and you have to have, an eye for it. You have to be able to artistically create something that looks beautiful and represent and visually represents your book, your story. So yeah, or taking you can take a class too, honestly, even if you don't have a design background, that's totally fine. I encourage everyone to keep learning, but especially when it comes to things like designing software and videos and everything, taking a class on how to do it, whether it's online or at an adult learning center or whatever, is probably going to just help by miles. So if you have zero experience with design, on, watch some tutorials, take some quick classes, make sure, because then you get the best product out of yourself, because then you know what you're doing, and that just makes sense. So that is something that can be the best option, but it does take training. It does take you learning how to do it. And I will have a learning curve when I get some software, because I haven't used video editing software before. Frankly, I'm a little afraid, but I can do it. I'm going to make it happen. Just not right now. So that's what I have to say about book trailers. I'm pro book trailer, absolutely, quite obviously. And I think that all authors should go ahead and make an effort to have them. I do. I think, and again, it doesn't matter what kind of book you have. It doesn't matter, even for short stories. Though for short stories, just for the sake of it, I would actually make the book trailer shorter. So the novels that I write, they're, between 300, 400 pages long. And my trailers are 45 seconds on average. So I would say, if you have a short story, instead, try to cut that trailer to 20 seconds. Because that actually sets a subconscious expectation from the watcher to understand that, oh, it's shorter, short story. And I like psychological things. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you so much for listening. I know you don't have to get your podcast information everywhere, so I appreciate that you came and got it here. And if you have any questions, as always, you can always DM me, you can comment on the video, you can, anything you want, just my Instagram is below in the links. Just let me know and look for the Queen Witch. I appreciate you all very much.